You're listening to Into the Disappearing, the podcast where we delve into the unsettling and unexplained disappearances of people who simply vanish, leaving behind nothing but unanswered questions. I'm Marin Blake. Tonight we travel to the Snake River in Idaho, a place of natural beauty and serenity. A river that winds through rugged canyons, dense forests, and forgotten landscapes. But beneath its surface, something far darker lies hidden. Over the years, several people have disappeared without a trace, each one seemingly swallowed by the river itself. Tonight, we'll explore the stories of those lost in its depths and the chilling mystery that surrounds this enigmatic stretch of water. This is episode 22, The River's Toll. The Snake River is one of the most powerful and unpredictable rivers in the United States, stretching over 1,000 miles through Idaho, Wyoming, and Oregon. To the locals, it's both a lifeline and a threat. The river has claimed many over the years, with occasional disappearances that never seem to make sense. These are not the typical accidents you'd expect by a river. No simple falls or capsized boats. These are vanishing acts. People who simply disappear, leaving behind only the water's constant flow and eerie traces of their passing. Let's start with the story of Thomas Creed, a fisherman who vanished without a trace on a hot July evening in 2015. Thomas was 48 years old, a seasoned fisherman who had been casting his line along the river for over 20 years. He was known for his quiet demeanor, always the first to rise and head out at dawn, often staying on the river into the night. On July 18th, he went out to a remote part of the Snake River, a place he had frequented many times before. His wife, Claire, grew concerned when he didn't return that evening. She called his phone, but there was no answer. By the time she alerted the authorities, the night had already fallen. The search began early the next morning. Volunteers, search dogs, and even divers were deployed along the riverbanks. The search area was expansive, a mix of wide, calm waters and narrow, fast-moving currents. But despite their best efforts, no sign of Thomas was found. His boat was anchored nearby, his tackle box still on board, and his fishing rod standing tall in its holder. There were no signs of struggle, no footprints leading away from the boat, and no trace of him on either bank of the river. The only clue was a single broken fishing line tangled in a nearby bush. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that a local fisherman, Jack Reynolds, found something strange while paddling downriver. Jack was in a narrow stretch of water just upstream from where Thomas had last been seen when he noticed something unusual in the water. A faint shimmer caught his eye, and when he leaned over the edge of his canoe to investigate, he saw a piece of fabric caught on a rock just beneath the surface. The fabric was part of Thomas's jacket, but when authorities arrived to examine the site, there was no sign of Thomas himself. The river had claimed him, but without a body, without an explanation. And the deeper they searched, the more the mystery grew. Where was he? What happened to him? The Snake River had taken Thomas, but as the years went on, the toll seemed to grow. Just 2 months later, another disappearance occurred, this time involving 31-year-old Claire Harris, a wildlife biologist. Claire had been working along the river to study its ecosystem and had hiked to an isolated stretch of riverbank, known for its dense foliage and deep eddies. Her colleagues reported that Claire was supposed to return by dusk, but when she didn't, they immediately launched a search. As the search crews scoured the river, they found Claire's backpack by the water's edge, soaked through but otherwise undisturbed. Her camera was inside, along with several journals filled with research notes, but there was no sign of her, no tracks, no footprints, no sounds of distress, just the silent river, as though it had swallowed her whole. The team spent weeks trying to track Claire, but nothing turned up. No body, no clues, just a chilling silence from the river itself. But the strangest part of Claire's disappearance came from a witness, a local fisherman named Roy Wilson, who was out on the river the day she vanished. Roy reported seeing a strange, glowing light on the water that afternoon. He thought it was a trick of the sun at first, but as he paddled closer, the light seemed to pulse and move, almost like it was beckoning him forward. He called out, but the light simply disappeared.
I've been out here my whole life and I've never seen anything like that. The water it felt different that day. I didn't get too close, but I swear I saw someone, standing by the river. I tried to call out, but they didn't move. Then I blinked, and it was gone.
Roy couldn't shake the feeling that whatever he saw on the river that day had something to do with Claire's disappearance. It was as if the river had something calling to her, pulling her in. But that's not the only strange thing. In 2017, another person vanished in the same stretch of river. This time, it was a tourist named Benjamin Moore, a 25-year-old who was visiting Idaho for the first time. Benjamin had been kayaking alone when his boat was found abandoned on the banks. His life jacket was still strapped to the kayak, and his paddle was placed neatly inside the boat as if he had just stepped away. Again, there was no sign of struggle, no signs of injury, nothing, just an empty boat. And once again, the river had taken someone. The local authorities began to notice a pattern. All the disappearances were happening in similar stretches of the river, near quiet bends and deep, slow-moving sections. These weren't places you'd expect to fall into. They weren't rapids or dangerous drops. Then, in 2019, a fisherman named Glenn Robertson, who had been fishing the Snake River for over 40 years, reported hearing strange noises coming from the water at night. Glenn said the sounds were unlike anything he'd ever heard. Low, rhythmic thumping, almost like a heartbeat coming from deep beneath the water. At first, he thought it was the river's natural flow, but the thumping continued for hours.
It wasn't normal. The river usually sounds like rushing water, but it was a beat, steady and heavy. I've heard a lot of things in these waters, but it didn't feel right.
The disappearance of Benjamin Moore, like those before him, remains unsolved. The river, silent and untamed, has claimed him too. Over the course of just a few years, 5 people have vanished from the Snake River, each leaving behind only remnants: a backpack, a jacket, a paddle, and the ever-present rush of water. The same river that has been a lifeline for generations now serves as a graveyard for those who ventured too close. Some say the river is haunted, that it holds some ancient power, calling to those who dare to listen. Others believe the disappearances are simply coincidences. People lost to the current, their bodies hidden beneath the water's depths. But no matter the explanation, the Snake River has taken its toll on this quiet corner of Idaho. If you have any information about the disappearances of Thomas Creed, Claire Harris, Benjamin Moore, or anyone else lost to the river, please contact the Idaho County Sheriff's Department. Next week, we head to the desolate mountains of Wyoming, where strange lights in the sky have been reported by locals for over a century. Until then, I'm Marin Blake. Stay aware. Stay away from the river's edge. And if you hear the water calling your name, don't answer.
When the night gets bright and the stars align, we stir up dreams in cosmic time. A little stardust, a little tune, you're mixing it with the